Good morning, everyone. Barb Desautels here with CIR Realty. And today I'm going to be talking to Matthew Pfeifer. And Matthew is located in Regina, Saskatchewan. Matthew has been in real estate for a while. He'll tell us all about how long he's been in real estate. And we'll talk about the Calgary market versus the Regina market. And of course, those Saskatchewan Roughriders won the game yesterday. Sad by this, but it is what it is. So welcome. Let's put Matthew here. And here he is.
Hey Barb, thanks for having me on. Yes, I'm Matthew Pfeifer, and real estate agent here in Regina with Royal LePage.
Welcome, Matthew. So tell us a little bit about yourself. How long have you been in real estate?
So I was officially licensed for 10 years now, but I like to say I've been in real estate my entire life. My dad has been an agent for about 40 years. And when I was
Ooh.
a kid, because he was too cheap, I think, to pay for daycare, my dad took me to open houses, listing appointments, showings. So I have been around real estate pretty much my entire life. I used to joke that I've probably walked or ridden my bike on almost every street in the city now.
That's cool. That's cool. So officially licensed, but really since birth, you have been in real estate.
Pretty much, yep.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about your family dynamics and
Yeah, so I'm 35 years old, so started, in the business, in my mid 20s there. But met my wife in university. We got married 2 years ago now, just over 2 years in 2019, and we just got ourselves a golden retriever in the summer. Her name is Matilda, so she's about 5 months old now, and she's growing like a weed. She's about 45 pounds. Love her to death, and we are thinking about kids here in the future, but we're not there yet.
not there yet. Just slow, one step at a time. First,
Yeah,
we
one
get the
step at a
dog,
time.
see if we can handle the dog. If the dog fits into the
Yep.
lifestyle, then you can move to the kids, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
That's awesome. Well, before we get started, we got to talk about the game yesterday. My
Yes.
Stampeders, how sad. The terrible Riders. Oh, man. Did you watch the
Yep,
game yesterday?
I did. I thought it was a pretty poorly played football game overall. I'll take a win, but it was an ugly game.
Sadly, I was out working and I was at a client housewarming party, so I didn't get to see the game fully.
I didn't miss
But
much. It wasn't a good game.
well, we can't win them all. We cannot
Nope,
win
you
them
can't win
all.
them all.
And sometimes it's just go in, even if it's dirty, right? And just
T-
just get her done.
Take a win.
Um, So Matthew, we've got to talk. Matthew has a YouTube channel, and it's pretty cool name. You can see that it's called Prairie Real Estate.
Yep.
And if you want to go and check Matthew's channel out, I'm going to put up the link here for Matthew's channel. And he's got lots of great stuff on there. Tell us a little bit about your channel, Matthew.
So, Prairie Real Estate is something I started in October of 2019. My wife was kind of the one that pushed me to do it, said, you can educate people and it'd be something I think you'd be good at. And so started doing videos. The first ones were terrible. I can't believe anybody actually watched them. But I wanted to focus on educating people about the process, mainly of buying, but I do a lot of selling stuff as well, and give people as much information so they understood, what the process was going to be like, what to look for, how to hire an agent, all that type of stuff. And then I do monthly updates on the Canadian market. I do 11 different cities. And it's been a lot of fun. It's growing a lot faster and a lot bigger than I ever thought it would. I honestly didn't think a lot of people would want to listen to me talk about real estate, but it's gone really well. And the name comes from obviously my fantastic hairstyle. And being from Saskatchewan, I tried to kind of put them together, and it was just one of those things where it came to me and went, yeah, that's a pretty good name. So it's been a lot of fun.
Awesome, awesome. Matthew's also on Instagram. I've just put up his Instagram account there, so you can follow him on Instagram. But he's got some great stuff on YouTube. So we're going to get into the meat and the potatoes of this live stream here. So tell us about the Regina market. What's happening there?
Well, so I'll back it up 2012 because that's kind of when our market peaked for us, both prices and activity. And then we spent 8 years of seeing declining prices and a pretty tough market, having to tell people you're going to sell your house for less than what you paid for it. or having people that would have to write a check to sell their house was not a lot of fun. And then 2019, it kind of felt like we were slowly hitting the bottom there. We were feeling a little bit of momentum. And of course, 2020, 2021 has been quite crazy for our market. We've seen prices increase, we've seen activity go through the roof. And so that has been a dramatic change. It went from a very heavy buyer's market to a seller's market in some categories and a very aggressive seller's market. So that's been quite the change to have to go through that. We're starting, I think, a little bit like you guys too, as well, where it feels like you're trending to, albeit much busier than normal, but kind of more normal trends. Inventory starting to kind of balance out a little bit, and sales are still really active, but it does feel a little bit more normal.
Okay. Yeah. So your market, did you have the crazy market like we did from
Oh,
January till about June?
yep.
The
Utter
beginning of
insanity,
June.
stupid, crazy busy. And I even decided to buy a house then. That was quite a lot of fun to throw that in there. Having probably, the busiest month I'd ever had, and then decide to buy a house in the middle of that too.
Oh my goodness. So you were running both ways. You were running as a buyer
Yep.
and you were running as a real estate agent for your
Yep.
clients, right? Yeah.
It was crazy.
Oh my goodness. I don't know how you did it. I mean, I was running and just to try and find your clients some houses that were decent and to get in, just to get in the door, right? Especially
Yeah.
as a real estate agent, you want to get your clients the best price possible when you're on the selling side, but you also want to find your buyer that home that they want to, maybe it's not their forever home, maybe it's a first time home buyer, but at least find them something that's decent and priced well, and so you don't have like 30 offers or something on the table. Right?
The change in market was so wild. It was 2 years ago. We'd look at, and they have a list of 7, 8, 9, 10 houses. We'd say, okay, we're gonna go look at them in a day or two, type thing, whatever worked in our schedule. We'll book them five, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, whatever it is, in a night to go look at. They'd all be available. We'd go look at them. If we liked one, we'd probably go back a second or a third time, type of thing, to take another look at it. And then it changed, in a very short period of time, and it became my morning routine, or my day routine, I guess, was get up in the morning, look at all the new listings, phone all the agents in town. Hey, is there anything else you got coming out today, tomorrow, next day, type of thing? If there was something out, it was book the showing. I didn't even ask my clients when they're available. I'd phone them and say, we've got a showing at 4 o'clock at 123 Main Street. Figure out how to be there on time. Oh, and there's already 6 other offers on it. So if you like this one, you got to make a decision right now. And there's 7 other people waiting, out on the street there to come look at it too. So what do you guys want to do? It was quite a change.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I think that we are moving into, I think, a little bit more balanced market,
Yep.
especially with well, the condo market is still, really, to be honest with you, it's still a buyer's market there. The detached homes for us here in Calgary is still a seller's market if you're priced right. Um, so tell me, what is, give me a lay of the land as far as the median price or the benchmark price in Regina.
So benchmark price composite, all property types together, is around $270,000. So we are one of the cheapest. Actually, I believe we are the cheapest major city in Canada. I guess you can argue what's considered a major city, but we are very price competitive compared to a lot of other cities. The single family home, that would be a little bit closer to $300,000. The benchmark price. Townhouse is about 250. Apartment style condos about 180. So very competitive, or very cost effective pricing compared to, say, Vancouver or Toronto, where you're talking $1 million as their composite price. Um, in terms of activity and how busy it is, there's still a seller's market, like you talked about, in single family. And for us, it's that 350 to 500. And so that composite benchmark being around 300, it's a little bit skewed by some lower prices there. The meat and potatoes of our market has always been around 250 to 350. So I guess 300 kind of makes sense there. But I'd call it the second house for people. So it's not that first time home buyer house. It's generally their second house, a little bit larger, and those things are going wild. Anything like 400 to 500 is nuts still.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We have kind of the same dynamics here. I mean, our benchmark price, I'm going to look here, is 459 overall, and we do see that busy is, it's kind of like yours actually, about between that 350 to 500,000, that's a
Yeah.
huge market. That's really, really busy. So you have to either move quickly
Yep.
in order to purchase something. And, like the average days on the market is amazing, like 46 days. But, if you're priced right, it could be, a couple of days. But people
Yep.
have to remember the secret is pricing it right. Yes, the market is busy, but the buyers know what's out there right now. They're looking at houses every day. They get an
Yep.
idea of what the cost is, right? So I think people have to realize, yes, it's a seller's market is with when it comes to the detached homes, anyways. The condominiums and apartments are still a buyer's market here. Is that the same?
Yeah, we're pretty much the same situation. Single family home detached is doing very well. There is a little bit of weakness, I'd say, in the sub 300 price point. It's not as active there, but the meat and potatoes market's still doing well. Condos, we had a huge glut of apartment style condos, and we've slowly been working through that. It is still a buyer's market there. The townhouse market is pretty close to balance now.
Yeah, yeah. And I mean, you can get a really good townhouse here in Calgary for, I would say about, 300,000, 350 and around there with a garage. And we see
Yep.
people that were thinking about moving into those apartments, moving into a townhouse because it feels like a single family home, right? You have a little bit of a yard. Some of them you pay condo fees, obviously, but it's a smaller condo fee than the
Yep.
apartment buildings, right? Yeah.
Yeah, like I was saying before we get jumped on here, I had a buyer that ended up deciding not to write an offer on a place, but it was a townhouse that backed a lake here in the city, about 1,400 square feet, two-story type thing, single attached garage, finished basement, well taken care of. And asking price on that was 280. I'm going to guess because there was potentially multiple offer situation there that they're probably going to get pretty close to that asking price. They were 4 days on the market, showed very well. So doesn't surprise me that got it, but that was a really, really nice place.
Yeah, yeah, wow. And that's a good price. That's
Yep.
amazing. Um, that would be a little bit more expensive here in Calgary.
Yep.
um, you know, with your price being so low compared to Calgary, are you seeing a lot of people moving from? Because for me, I'm seeing a lot of people moving from Toronto, Montreal. I'm not getting as many calls for people from Vancouver, probably because they don't like our weather. Because if a
Yep.
sprinkle of snow comes to
You got to
Vancouver to
shut the
be
world down.
it's all shut down, right?
Yep.
Whereas, you're in the prairies, I'm in the prairies. Oh, what? It's minus 50. This is a great time to go out, right? Let's
Yeah.
look at houses. But the people from Toronto, Montreal, they're moving into Calgary a lot. Are you seeing that shift in Regina as well?
I think we're a little bit behind there right now. We're not seeing it does happen, yes, but I think, just talking to yourself and other agents in Calgary and Edmonton specifically, and Winnipeg as well, they are starting to see that. We're not yet. So I think we're just a little bit behind you guys for that, but it wouldn't surprise me to start seeing that happen. I have been getting a lot of calls from specifically Toronto, Vancouver investor types where they see some, yeah, what they would perceive as incredibly, I know they are incredibly low prices, where sub $100,000 on a house there. I have to explain to them, look, if you're buying this house, you really need to know what you're buying. It's a rough neighborhood, as in really rough neighborhood, extremely poor condition. And the type of people that are going to look to rent a property in that neighborhood are going to be, I would consider, more difficult tenants. They're not just have a nice day and the place is going to be looked after. These are rough neighborhoods, and I'm not even kidding. These are neighborhoods where if you leave them vacant, somebody will steal the copper piping out of it for scrap metal. That's the type of neighborhoods you're dealing with. So if you know what you're buying, go ahead, but you really need to understand what this is.
Wow, that's amazing. Yeah,
Yep.
that is rough. I'm not quite sure we have kind of that rough neighborhood. We have some different neighborhoods, but I'm not sure we have that. That's a yeah. I mean, they have the money, right? I mean,
Yep.
they can pay cash for most
Yep.
of the people from Toronto and Vancouver. They can pay cash for a home, whereas we still see people needing a mortgage, right?
Yep.
When they buy a house here, they need a mortgage. Are you finding that there's any, for me, when I have a buyer, I'm finding that it's taking a lot longer to get a mortgage. Like normally we'd be able to get a mortgage within 7 days. Now the mortgage brokers are asking for 10 plus days. They're behind on appraisal still. Are you finding that in Regina?
Yep. Finding anything, home inspections as well, just taking a long time because of the activity. One thing that I have been doing is writing actually tighter financing conditions. And the reason I've been doing that is maybe you've seen the same experience. If you write a 7 day financing condition, the bank gets it done in 7 days. If you write a 10 day, it takes 10 days to get it done. So we've been writing actually tighter financing conditions because it seems to get done on time all the time. No matter how long you give them, it'll get done on the last day. So if you give them 7 days, it'll get done. If you give them 20, it'll take 20. I don't know why that works that way.
Probably because they decide, okay, we're not going to look at this until
Yep.
the two
I
days
think it gets put in the
before.
next week pile.
Yeah, yeah. So if you put it tighter, they'll get it done, which
It
which
seems
is
that
which
way.
is
It seems to
awesome.
work out.
That's awesome. So now you said that I'm just looking here. What is the average days on the market in Regina for say single family home?
You catch me off guard because I don't know what it is. I think citywide we're around 45 or 50 days, but don't quote me on that. I could be 100% wrong on that. And I think it's very, very misleading to, and you're probably seeing the same thing. Average is very tough to use because that 350 to $400,000 single family home, that average is probably a week if it's priced right or less versus the condo apartment style place that's maybe a little overpriced might be 120 days. So
Yeah,
I think you have to really segment that out. But yeah, I'm probably wrong on that, but I would bet it's around 45 to 50 days without looking right off the
yeah.
bat here.
And ours is about 46. And it's true. The average, obviously, you're going to get, yeah, the condos who are lasting, yeah, the 120 days, 3 to 4 months, 5 months, 6 months, sometimes, depending on the
Yep.
condo fees. That
Yes.
makes a difference as well, right? Yeah. Um, so, what if I'm going to be moving to Regina? I know nothing about Regina. What do I have to do? What's there for fun? What do you do in Regina as far as family life, things like that?
Well, first thing you got to burn that terrible jersey. That would be the first order of business. So you cannot be
Woo!
a Calgary Stampeders fan or any other fan. You must be a Rough Rider fan. That's a requirement to buy a house. Is you have to declare your allegiance to the Saskatchewan Rough Riders. And after you've done that, then we can start looking at buying houses. But what's the city like? The big advantage to Regina is it's a small, big city. So you're 280 to 300,000 people in the city. You can get anywhere end to end of the city in 15 minutes, basically. So you're probably going
Wow,
to be no more than a 10 to 12-minute commute, to get to work, assuming there's no terrible traffic or construction, which is, summer, all summer long. We have cooler weather, obviously, in the winter, cold and dry, but we do get nice hot summers. For entertainment, you've got sports, you've got the Riders there. Obviously, that's your big CFL team. You also have the university program here, University of Regina. And they've got all their sports there. We've got a junior team, the Regina Pats is our hockey team. So if you're into sports, you've got lots of that. There's a ton of music festivals like Folk Festival, Winter Eruption, if you're looking for that type of thing. Um, so good music scene in the city as well. And the big advantage I think here is because it's a small city and because we've got fairly low cost of living. If you want to go on a winter vacation, you pack up the kids or you and your spouse, jump on a plane and you can be in a warm place pretty easily as well. And the prairies are beautiful if you kind of understand that, hey, we don't have the mountains and the beautiful lakes like BC and Alberta do, but the prairies have their own beauty and the people are fantastic. Some of the nicest people you're ever going to meet are right here in Saskatchewan.
that's amazing. So you can get to anywhere in the city within 15 minutes. My
Pretty
son
much. Yep.
did go to the University of Regina there and also played football. Now, Matt, I know you played football. Tell me a little bit about that.
So yeah, I grew up in Regina. After high school, I actually went out to Quebec for a year, played out at Bishops, and then I moved out west and I played in Nanaimo for 4 years, and I finished up at the University of Saskatchewan. So I'm a Regina guy that doesn't like the Regina Rams being a U of S Husky grad.
Yeah, I'm sure the Rams, yeah, uh,
And a lot of the kids I coach end up going to the Rams, and I'm like,
uh,
let's go to the U of S instead.
it happens. It happens. We can't force them to go, right? So yeah, you're doing some coaching with football as well. So how long have you been doing that?
I actually started coaching when I was 17 years old. And it was kind
Wow.
of a promise I made to myself. I played 10 years of football after it was all said and done. And all of the coaches that coached me over the years outside of my university coaches never got paid anything at all. They gave their time for free. They're away from their family, away from their business. So I said to myself, I got to give back to this game that gave me so much. It gave me my education, a lot of my friends I met because of the game, and ended up meeting my wife because of a decision to go to the U of S and play football there. So I said, I want to give back 2 years for every year I played. I wanted to give 20 years. So I still got a few more years left, but I'm actually getting pretty close to that. So 37, I'll have my 20 years in. And it's a lot of fun. I love doing it. I love working mainly actually the younger ages. That's where I find more fun. But I do everything from 6 year olds to high school age. And I've helped out as well with the junior program here.
Wow, 6-year-old. What are you teaching a 6-year-old to play football?
The super basic fundamentals, catching, passing, the basics of the game, the positions, that type of thing. Small little fundamental things. But these kids are way smarter than you expect. We have a program here in Saskatchewan. We take kids down to the States. We do 4 teams, so under 10, under 12, under 14, under 16. We go into tournaments in the States through the winter. And so the under 10 program is mainly 7, 8, 9 year olds. And
Okay.
you'd be surprised at how complex of a program we can put together, the offense these kids run and how good they are. It's amazing to see.
Wow, I didn't realize that kids that young could, you know, um, play football. I figured it would be too complicated for them. So that's really good. Good for you. You're really giving back to your community as well, right?
It's important to me. It's something I love. And like I said, these coaches, they gave me their time, and I owe my community that because of what I got out of the game.
That's awesome. So back to real estate. Um, if now I'm moving there, I've never been to Regina. You said I've got to bleed green. I've got to do my
Yep.
legion to the to the Rough Riders. What is a good community, or what's a starter community if I'm moving to Regina and I'm a first time home buyer. What would I expect?
It depends a lot of what you're looking for. I'll let you in on a little city secret. So we have a street in Regina, Dudney Avenue, that splits the city north and south, and it's kind of like this friendly rivalry. And so if you live north of Dudney, you're called a nod, N-O-D. And generally, people that grew up south end, they stay in the south end. If you grew up the north end, you stay in the north end. I am one of a south ender that actually moved technically with the house that I just bought. I'm NOD now because my house backs a park that is 100 yards on the other side of Dudney. So I'm technically an NOD now, but it really depends what you're looking for. There's some fantastic communities up in the Northwest with starter homes. You'll hear names like Normanview West, Walsh Acres, Sherwood Estates, great neighborhoods. Out in the South End, you'll hear neighborhoods like Whitmore Park, Hillsdale. Those are fantastic. Kind of more of the name brand recognized neighborhoods. You're going to hear places like the Crescents or Douglas Park, which are around Wascana Lake. Beautiful neighborhoods. Cathedral has a really cool vibe to it. Older houses like early 1900s era houses,
Mm.
very neat, unique styles there. And then if you head out in the southeast, you can look at some of the neighborhoods that are more the higher end luxury neighborhoods like Wascana View, the Creeks, the Greens on Garner, stuff like that. And there's some of those as well on the north end, like Lake Ridge.
Okay, so you're a nod the north
I'm
side.
technically a nod, yes. I can't even tell my friends. I couldn't invite them all over because they'd make fun of me.
Oh, that's too funny. Well, yeah, you guys though, I mean, Regina is so affordable.
Yep.
Um, what is it? Obviously, we're in Alberta, and oil is our big. That's our industry, right? That's our big industry. And we are starting to get a lot of tech companies
Yep.
coming to Alberta, and we are very much that entrepreneurial spirit. So we've got lots of startup companies, lots of small business. I'm moving to Regina. Where do I find a job? Like, what's your industry there?
So Regina Provincial Capital Government is a major employer. You have obviously provincial government, but as well as all the crown corporations. For those that aren't familiar with the term crown corporations, that's government things like your energy, so your power, your gas. So we have a provincial crown corporation for telecommunications, Hastel. So those are major employers in the city. But as well, oil and gas is a major employer. We have a refinery in the city that's a major employer, and all of the surrounding communities. Again, oil and gas important. But of course, Saskatchewan's known for agriculture, not only wheat crops, people think, or grain crops, cereal crops like wheat, but also canola is a massive product here. The other one that people maybe don't realize, two ones that are huge, mustard. One of the biggest producers in the world of mustard is Saskatchewan, and as well as lentils. So anybody that likes lentils, Saskatchewan produces something like 30% of the world's lentils. So that's just kind of two little snippets of information about Saskatchewan. But yeah, agriculture is very important. Oil and gas is very important to us here, and the government is probably your three biggest major employers in the city of Regina.
That's awesome. Wow. Um, I'm vegetarian, vegan, or what have you. So I eat a lot of lentils. I better check to
Yep.
see if my lentils come from
The,
Saskatchewan.
the vast majority of them do. If you look into a company called AGT Foods, they're based out of Regina. The CEO was the World Entrepreneur of the World in, I think, 2016, 2017. One of the largest lentil production companies in the world.
Wow, that's amazing. Well, I'm probably going to be eating lentils this evening because I have a family member that has been experimenting with a lot of vegan type food. So I'll make sure she
Yep.
buys Saskatchewan lentils. My,
Yep.
my
That
husband,
most
as
of
I
them
told
probably
you,
are from Saskatchewan.
yeah, but my husband is from Saskatchewan. My son attended Saskatchewan, and I have family that lives in Regina. So I do love Saskatchewan. I love the when I'm driving to Saskatchewan, especially in the summer, the thing that I love best is to see the canola, the mustard. It's
Yep.
just this pretty, it's so green. And you are right, the people are friendly. And Regina is a small, it's a small, big city, like you said. I've been there so many times and I felt welcome. Now I know Winnipeg has a some sort of program with a lot of various countries. I know that they have something with the Philippines. This is I'm throwing this out here. Matthew doesn't know this question's coming. Do you know if Saskatchewan has any sort of programs with any other countries? I know, like I said, I know Winnipeg has something with the Philippines. Does Saskatchewan have something like that?
Yes, there is a government program to attract new Canadians from other countries. I forget the name of the department or the program, but I know that they are aggressively trying to bring in new Canadians. The Philippines is one specifically in the health sector, nurses and LPNs and care aides. A lot have come from the Philippines recently. That's been a big push here in the province.
Oh, that's awesome. So you're getting a lot of different cultures coming
Yep.
in. I know when my son was in Regina and when he went to Saskatoon, we had lots of people also from like places like Nigeria. So there is definitely a lot of different cultures coming in. So that's why I'm asking the questions because it's so Saskatchewan, Regina, for you to buy a house, you can come there as a newcomer to Canada and it's still affordable. Unlike when you go to Regina and Toronto and Montreal, it's really hard for the prices to, for you to get into that starter home rate. First of all, you're buying an apartment and
Yep.
the apartment's really expensive, right? Um, so if you guys have any questions, those who are watching, if you have any questions for myself or Matthew, just go ahead, put a Q. Well, you don't even have to put a Q. I don't have 2 million people watching, so I can see your questions. Yeah, if you have any questions for Matthew or myself, just go ahead, post it in the comment. And if you are on Facebook watching, you have to grant StreamYard, the tool that I'm using, to access because then your name shows up, right? If you are on Facebook, and also I think it's on LinkedIn as well. Just grant us access, and then we'll be able to see your name. But if you have any questions, go ahead and comment or ask us the questions because we're here to answer. Again, Matthew is in Regina, Saskatchewan, and I'm in Calgary, Alberta, Canada. I'm going to put Matthew's phone number up on the screen so you can, if you need to get a hold of him, if you're in Saskatchewan, anywhere, he's got a great YouTube channel that talks about not just Saskatchewan, Regina market, but he's actually talking about lots of market. And he's talking about the market in all of Canada. It's a pretty awesome channel. I've watched it before. I'm going to share Matthew's channel here. So let's have a look, and just you can check out Matthew's channel.
Yeah, I try to educate. It's not going to be look at this fancy house. It's all about teaching people what you need to know when you're buying or selling a house and keeping up on the market. That's kind of my big focus there. Education, that's the key word there. I want to teach you.
Yeah. So that is Matthew's channel, Prairie Real Estate. It's pretty fantastic. And how often do you put videos out, Matthew?
I try to aim for once a week. I used to have a more consistent schedule, but I've gotten to the point, partially from being busy with work and family. But I've said to myself, I'm not going to force a video out. It'll be out when it's ready, type of thing. So right now, I'm working on one on kind of a bunch of steps, a game plan for once you've bought a house. What do you do next? And I'm probably going to shoot that here on Monday. But I've been slowly working on it for the last couple of weeks and getting some good tips together for people. But yeah, they come out when they come out, type of thing. But generally once a week.
Yeah, yeah, which is awesome. So if you want to get some information about living in Saskatchewan, living in Regina, and also just on the general real estate, Matthew, like I said, his channel's awesome. So go ahead and check that out. Now we are. I'm going to ask. So Matthew, I bought a house. I want to buy a house in Regina, and like I said, I've never been there. Some of the things you mentioned. What about things for family? Now, if I have a family, what are some of the entertainment attractions besides sports? Because we talk a lot about sports,
Yep.
obviously, because we're both football fans.
So you've got there's a bunch of different leisure centers throughout the city that'll have ice rinks, pools, libraries. Typically, they're put together in one building or building side by side. So very common to see lots of stuff like that. Lots of spray pads, lots of parks in the city to go to. Wascana Park, I believe, in terms of physical size, is the largest urban park in North America. It dwarfs Central Park actually in New York City. It's a massive lake and park area. You've got a hill there that's great for tobogganing in the winter. Great walking paths. The kind of main loop that people do is about 5.5 kilometers. And of course, the provincial legislature backs onto the lake there. So that's a really popular place. The Science Center, another one there. Again, it's at Wascana Lake there. Very popular place for people to bring their kids to, even big kids like myself going to check out the Lego exhibit that was there recently. So stuff like that, very, very common. And then there's some fantastic restaurants in the city here for all different ages and different types of cuisine that you're interested in.
Mm, yes. So if I'm going to look for something to eat and I want to try something that's, more not mainstream, not the mainstream restaurants, like a little mom and pop shop, what's a good place?
I'll throw out a few that are my favorites here. One is called Bomb Bowl. It's a Korean barbecue. There's two, one on the north end,
Mm,
one on the east side. Absolutely love it there if you're looking for Korean cuisine. Another one is Milu, again on the east side of town, and that is Vietnamese. That's a really good one that I like. If you're looking for kind of your steak and potatoes type place, there's the Lakeshore's fantastic steakhouse, as well as Gulf's, two big steakhouses in town. And one that my wife and I just went to recently is called Avenue, right downtown. Unbelievable food there. It is on the pricier side, but if you're going for a special occasion, that was a really, really good restaurant to go to.
awesome, awesome. So sounds like Regina has everything that you need. The housing prices are reasonable. The activity to do for your family, that's you've got lots of different things to do. And finding a job in Regina is whether you're looking for a government job or agriculture, obviously, is a big thing. And you've got lots of yeah, lots of government job. I was trying to think of the other one that you had mentioned, but I forgot.
So agriculture, oil and gas is obviously big,
Yeah.
government's big, provincial capital, a lot of stuff. The other one too, we have the RCMP barracks here. So anybody who is training to be an RCMP officer will come to Regina and they will spend 6 months in Regina. So we have a lot of people from across the country that do come here for RCMP training.
Okay, there you go. So RCMP training as well. So if you're thinking about joining the RCMP, you're going to have to go visit Matt in
Yep,
Regina and
you'll spend some
buy a
time
house.
here. Well, they put them up
uh,
for the training. They live on the base there, so they don't live off base. They're actually on site.
okay, okay. Well, that's kind of cool as well. Um, so that's excellent. Now let's. I'm going to go back to sort of real estate a little bit here. I'm looking at my sheet. So the benchmark price is amazing. How low it is comparing to the rest of the city, or sorry, rest of the country. Now you said that you didn't see a lot of people moving from Vancouver or Toronto to Regina, but do you see a lot of movement from within Alberta, within the other prairie provinces? Because we know how cold it gets in
Yep,
Saskatchewan. So I mean, as they call Winnipeg, Winterpeg.
yep.
So do you see a lot of movement from other provinces, or prairie provinces especially?
We do get interprovincial migration. We do see that. Obviously, 5 and 6 years ago, there was a lot of movement from the Maritimes here to work in the oil and gas field. That's not as common as right now. But I think because we are seeing a little bit of a recovery there, that will start to come back. I did recently help a buyer that was coming from Langley, actually. And he was saying, wow, this city in this area is fantastic. There's great employment opportunities, household incomes are quite high in Regina. I think we're about sixth highest in the country, and yet have some of the lowest house prices. And the people are fantastic. And he's going on and on. And I said, yes, these are things we know. Don't tell your friends. We like this little secret we've got here.
Well, he's in for a rude awakening, though. I mean,
He hasn't done a
Regina's a
winter yet, so we're
no.
gonna see. I'll be touching base with him. Obviously, we're still quite nice. The fall has been fantastic here, but as you know, we're probably only a couple of weeks away from some pretty cold weather.
Yes, yes, we're definitely not. I mean, it's been great here in Calgary as well. The weather is beautiful. Yesterday we had some rain during that football game. It was raining, I think, the day before, and it's cold, but it's
Yep.
nothing like winter. That poor fellow from Langley, BC, will be in for a culture shock.
At least
Um,
you get the Chinooks there, though. We don't get Chinooks.
yes. No, I love the Chinooks. I could not live without them. They are like, at least when you get -50, -30. Okay, guess what? In a few days, or at the end of the week, there'll be a Chinook. When I
Yep.
come to Saskatchewan, yeah, it's too cold for me.
It gives the cold and the wind. The wind is what kills you. A
Oh.
lot of people don't understand what wind chill is and how much that affects temperature and how cold it could really feel. And when you step outside and your face hurts as soon as you've walked outside, yeah, that's a different experience.
Oh, I am not looking forward to winter. But again, though, you can think about it. In Regina, you said it takes 15 minutes to get from point A to point B, so that's great. So if you're outside in the cold and you're going from work to home, it's not going to take you that long. You don't have to start your
No.
car up as long. Whereas it'll take you a good 45 minutes, sometimes an hour within Calgary, right? So um,
Well, and because
there's
our
a
house prices are
godsend.
affordable, you can get a garage too.
A garage? What's that?
Yeah.
You mean the stuff that's where people put all their junk, right? Nobody parks
Yeah.
their cars in the garage. um, so Matthew, before we wrap up, tell me, what would you say to somebody who's moving to Regina? They've never they're living somewhere else within Canada, or even outside of Canada. What would you tell them about the city and about real estate in general as well?
So obviously prices. That's the biggest thing is our prices are so much more affordable than pretty much anywhere in Canada outside of obviously much smaller centers. But for a larger city where you can, have a lot of the services that you would get in bigger centers. We don't have everything. There's no IKEA, there's no Apple stores, things like that. We got to go to Calgary and Winnipeg for that. But and then the airport, we don't have as quite as many options airport wise. We don't have very many direct flights, but you get to Calgary in 50 minutes and boom, you're off to anywhere you want type of thing. The people is, I think, what you're going to notice the most is just how nice and friendly and helpful the people really are. Whether you need a hand with something, I mean, my little bay that we bought on, our neighbor 2 doors down has a bobcat and he plows the bay for us. So we just shovel our snow onto the street and he plows it all for us. And our street's always clean, that type of thing. There's always going to be somebody there to help you out, giving you recommendations. And the city is very much not necessarily what you know, but who you know. Everybody kind of knows everybody type of thing. And there's always, if you need something, hey, call this guy. He's going to get you set up and he's going to take care of you. It really matters to people to take care of each other and look out for each other. That's, I think, the biggest things you're going to notice. You do have the weather extremes. It's cold in the winter, but it's also very warm in the summer. You do get a full 4 seasons. Unlike some areas of the country where it's kind of just summer and then rain, we get all 4 seasons, and it's quite fun to go through all 4 of those seasons and experience them all. And there's still lots of great things to do, whether it's winter, summer. There's always activities outside, inside that you can go check out.
Well, it sounds like a great city. And again, I've been there. I've been there many times. I have family that lives there. My nephew is living there right now. And sounds like a great city to start a family up, start your family. And also, if you're looking to purchase real estate, I mean, the prices are amazing comparing to, Calgary and definitely Vancouver and and Toronto and Montreal. So if you guys are looking to get a hold of Matthew, again, I've put up his YouTube channel here and I'll put up his direct number. His YouTube channel is pretty easy to remember, Prairie Real Estate. Go ahead and type that into Google, type it into YouTube. You can't forget about it. He lives on the prairies, like he says, and because of his lovely hair, that's where his channel name comes from.
And you can put that in the description too. You can put all the links so people can click on that if they're watching, just want to go directly to that. I can get you all that information too.
Yeah, we'll definitely put that into the link. And again, Matthew works for Royal LePage in Regina, and he tells me that there's only one Royal LePage, so you can't
Royal
miss
LePage
it.
Regina Realty.
Yes. And so we're going to finish up here. As I said, I will be doing once a month, just going around the country, talking to real estate agent, seeing what it's like to live in their city, prices comparing to Calgary, Alberta. And the biggest thing I think would be just going cross country, checking out all of the great places to live in Canada. Canada is an awesome, and it's a large landmass as well. And it's a great place. So I'll be doing this once a month. It's so diverse. Absolutely. Again, I'll be doing this once a month. So you can definitely check out for a live stream. But anyone that comes on and has to do a dance. So Matthew has agreed that he's going to, maybe he's going to do the Carlton. Who knows what he's going to do? Thank you so much, Matthew, for joining me today. And
thanks for having me on.
Again, go and check out his YouTube channel because he has got an awesome channel there. So let me see if I can find the music that will.
Oh, this will be good.
I'm losing my earbuds. I think I'm going to have to buy another set. These are brand new, but they're not working that great. So let's see if we can find some music. Matthew, can you hear the music?
Not yet. Nope.
Not yet. All right. Let me bring it into the live stream here. And then we'll take her out. I'm going to share my screen and share the video, share the screen. We'll see Matthew doing his funky moves.
It'll be terrible. Just like my jokes.
Oh, yes. Matthew, before we go, Matthew always has a really, really good dad joke at the beginning of his his YouTube videos. So if you want some dad jokes, also check out
Yep,
his
it's a
channel.
fun little thing we do.
They're pretty awesome. So we are going to go in and play some music here from our. All right, Matthew, can you hear it?
Yep, I got it.
Thank you, guys. There you go. Thanks, everyone, for watching, and we'll see you next month. Have a fantastic day. Thanks, Matthew.
Thanks for having me on.
All right. Take care, everyone. Bye.